Hi everybody, I'm Cassandra from Craftably Ever After and welcome to another video. And you guys, happy New Year. It's 2025. I cannot believe we are at the start of another year. Now today, the 1st of January, also happens to be my 3-year anniversary year on YouTube. So I can't believe it's been 3 years since I've posted my very first video. It's been such a journey. I've loved every minute that I have spent here on YouTube with you guys. I've gotten to know so many lovely people from this amazing crochet and crafty community. I've loved interacting with you all, chatting to you either via Instagram, via email, via the comments. Now, you guys, my comments, I have been dismal at responding to comments the last few months. I do read every single comment once they come in, and I love it. You know, it's a very different it's a different type of a thing, making videos for YouTube. So with me sitting here, I'm staring into the lens of the camera, talking sort of to myself at the moment. And it's only once I post and you guys start chatting back that I know that I'm doing this with a lovely community. And this is why I cannot wait until I post a video and the comments start coming in and I recognize the names. And as soon as someone new comments, I immediately know, oh, this is someone I haven't seen in the comments before. Either they're a new subscriber or, they just decided to pop in a comment after maybe following me for a while, because that also happens. I'm one of those silent stalker type YouTube watchers. So I follow a ton of YouTube channels and I very rarely actually comment. I comment here and there on the channels that I know the creators a bit better on. People that I do regular collabs with or that I got to know through crochet alongs. But in general, I very rarely comment on videos, which I actually should do because I love reading comments. And I'm sure every other creator out there love reading comments as well. So I'm going to try and be better at answering comments as well as commenting in 2025. But before I go now on a whole different tangent, I have been thinking the last few days about my 2024 crochet journey. And I think it has to do with a lot of people's videos I've been watching about their goals, their plans for 2025. And as I say, I've been thinking about 2025, but I've been thinking a lot about 2024. Everything that happened. My channel has grown quite a lot during this year. There's a lot of new people who's watching. So welcome to the channel. You're more than welcome here. We are one big, happy crochet family. It's always fun when more people join in. It's going to be a fun year, as has been the case for 2024. I loved everything we did during 2024. We had some wonderful collabs. We had some amazing crochet alongs. We just had, I don't know, it's been a year, and I have been preaching this since the start of 2024, to just do what you love. Life is short. We have to do what we love. And this is, for the most part, what my 2024 crochet journey has been. Now I thought it would be fun to sort of look back before I head into my 2025 ideas, plans, to have a look at my favorites of 2024. And I'm going to sort of move just a teeny tiny bit. Let me just move my camera on to focus properly. I'm going to pop some photos as I talk just here on the screen, and I made some notes. Now just look at this fantastic notebook. Many of you would recognize this as a Studio Ghibli character. This is a little book that's sort of based on the Kiki's Delivery Service movie, which I spoke about last year. It's such a nice book. It's like a very soft, I know what this fabric is, but it's not a hard cover, it's a fabric. It's a cute little embroidered cat, you would recognize him. And in it, I have written some of my favorites of 2024. And as I say, I will pop in pictures as I talk about it. I thought it would be fun to just have a look and maybe surprise you with some of my favorites. And there's one not so favorite of 2024 just in between it. I've been watching a channel of someone who she did sort of an award show of things that happened, patterns that she did, projects that she did. She did it as an award type video, and I really enjoyed watching it. So mine is going to be almost like an award, not quite, but I thought I'd make it a favorites of 2024. So let's get started on that, and then we'll look at the year ahead. Now, firstly, I'm going to kick off with my top 5 favorite makes of 2024. Now, some of these might surprise you. Some of them, I don't know. If you are fairly new, you might not know that I made them. I mean, I made so many projects during 2024. You might not remember them. But let's start with number 5. Now, this was the list as I wrote it down yesterday, the 31st of December 2024. So in number 5, I have this cute bear pattern. Now, you guys know I am the bear queen. I love making bears, but this has been a very cute pattern. I like the clothing. I like how she turned out. This was a very, very fun pattern to make. So this comes in at number 5. At number 4, surprisingly, is this doll pattern from Lulu's Crochet Dolls. Now, I've loved working from this book. I absolutely loved it. It's a fantastic book. If I remember, I will post links to patterns or books that I mentioned down in the description box below if you want to go and have a look at it afterwards, if you might be interested in something that I talk about. If I don't mention anything in the description box, please leave me a comment and I will answer you, or I will include it in the description. So this doll has been number 4. I loved it. I love the summer doll. I love the little floaties. I thought it was a hair, but it's actually a swimming cap. I absolutely loved making this doll. So she comes in at number 4. Number 3 is a surprise for me, and it's this cute fox by Zip Zip Dreams. Now, this pattern actually comes from the book Zumigurumi Favorites, and I did it for, I think it was Pamela at Ginger Cat Crochet. She has this by hook or by crook series that she's doing, and I did this fox for a project on one of those by hook or by crook episodes. I love the look of this fox, the little face. It was not difficult to follow. It turned out so beautifully, and someone here in Denmark bought that fox for her little grandson that's going to be born, I think now sometime in February. Number 2 on my list, and obviously I had to include an Animal Friends of Pick-a-Bow pattern, and it is this adorable cheetah. Now, this was actually a request by a fellow South African that lives here in Copenhagen. And she asked me if I could make a South African animal for South African friends of theirs that lives in a different country, I think the Netherlands. They were having a baby last year. And if I could make a South African animal. So I made this cheetah from the Animal Friends of Pick-a-Bow. Loved how it turned out. I love the Animal Friends of Pick-a-Bow patterns. I love them all. If you guys know, you know that Animal Friends of Pick-a-Bow is my top favorite books. She's my top designer. I love everything that Animal Friends of Pick-a-Bow Jan Schenkel designs. My number 1 favorite pattern of 2024 comes from the hashtag Nautical November Cowl, and it is this turtle. This has been the most time-consuming and intricate pattern I have done in ages, and I absolutely love how it turned out with that little seagull sitting on his belly. This turtle is actually on my desk at work, like at my office job. So not my office here at home, because I do work certain days from home. This is at my office. at work. I love this turtle so much. I had a ball with that entire crochet along, and this turtle just stole my heart. It was the make of that whole month for me. I absolutely loved it. So that is number 1 in my top 5 favorite makes of 2024. Our next category is my most surprisingly enjoyable make. And if you have watched any almost of my videos throughout this year, it should come as no surprise that my surprisingly most enjoyable make this year has been the loaf cat. I have been obsessed with this pattern for the majority of 2024. I loved making it. I know the pattern off by heart now. So anytime I'm watching TV or I'm sitting not knowing what to do, I will grab one or other color of my chenille yarns and I will make a cat. I love it. I've gifted tons. I've sold quite a few at a market I did in December. They have been a hit throughout the year, and I will probably not stop making them going into 2025. I love making them. They like this relaxing pattern that takes no effort, and it is super cute. So this is my most surprisingly enjoyable pattern for 2024. Category number 3, favorite own design of 2024. Now, I have designed quite a few patterns in 2024. It has been definitely the year where I made the decision in the beginning of 2024 that I wanted to design a few patterns. I did reach that goal, but my favorite pattern that I designed for 2024 has to be Swim Time Sammy. He's also my most popular pattern on Etsy and Ravelry. I've sold a ton of him on both of those platforms. People absolutely love him. There's so many variations. I think it has to do with the different swim floaties that you can choose. I mean, it's removable pants that you can make in whatever color. This was just such a versatile and enjoyable pattern. Many people have made for different cows throughout the year, have used the Swim Time Sammy pattern. You know, sometime after I brought out the pattern, I also created a little vest for him. That's a free download on my blog. He has just been the bear of the hour. I've loved him. I still love him. He is the winner of my favorite own design of 2024. Category number 4, the pattern I will make again. So a pattern that surprised me, that I didn't think at the time of making it I will make again. But once I completed it, I knew I was going to make it again. So it was a surprising, a pattern that surprised me so much. And it is this adorable mermaid by Blue Bunny Crochet. Now, I think I actually bought a pattern pack. There's 5 different mermaids. They've got different tails, different hairstyles. I did this one as part of a video where I only did mermaid patterns, but this one was super cute. Her hair is fantastic. It's a great size. It's a very small size. Now, obviously, if you use a thicker yarn, for most of my projects, I use Rainbow Cotton 86, which is a sport weight yarn and a 2.5mm hook. But if you make this in a thicker yarn, it will be fantastic. But this mermaid pattern has been surprisingly the pattern that I thought afterwards, yes, I will make her again, despite the amount of effort that she took to make. Number 5, category number 5, my favorite crochet along make. So not my favorite crochet along, that is the category coming up, but my favorite crochet along make. And it is this doll, another doll from Lulu's Crochet Dolls. I adapted the pattern slightly, and this was a project for the Hooking Up with Book series that I did with my very good friend Caroline over at For the Love of Crochet. We read 6 books throughout 2024, and for each one we made a project inspired by that book. And this project was for the book All the Light We Cannot See. Beautiful, beautiful book. It was a fantastic mini-series on Netflix, and this was the doll inspired by the main character. I love this book. So if you want to buy, or if you ever consider buying a doll book, Lulu's Crochet Dolls is a fantastic, fantastic book to get. Now, category number 6, my favorite crochet along. Now, this will maybe come as a bit of a surprise, but my favorite crochet along that I hosted this year was the Miffy Bunny Challenge. The fact that we had to use an artwork to create or to, interpret into the Miffy Bunny pattern was amazing. The amount of creativity of the entries I received on that cal was just, my mind was blown. I loved everything about the Miffy Bunny Challenge, and I want to do something in that line again this year. I like doing challenges that sort of pushes our creativity a bit, and I think I'm going to continue with it this year. So the Miffy Bunny Challenge was my favorite crochet along of 2024. Category number 7. Okay, this is the only slightly negative category I've got in my lineup, and it is called a popular pattern that I didn't enjoy making. Now, I think many of you will know that the knotted loveys was like on a what do you call it? Meteoric rise. I don't even know what the word is. Like, it was, I don't want to say almost viral. It felt like it went almost viral. Like, every single person was making knotted loveys. People are still making knotted loveys. I bought the Mama Made Minis Knotted Lovey book. I have bought knotted lovey patterns, and I made only one, and it was this little bear by Mama Made Minis. It's one of their Etsy patterns. It's the mini version. So I didn't actually make a pattern from the book. I made this mini version, but I really, even though the patterns are super cute, and every time someone shows it on their channels on YouTube or I see it on Instagram, I really like the look of it, but I really disliked making the knotted lovey. It could be that I'm just, I don't prep for markets. I don't have any grandchildren or know any people with really babies in my life that I would want to make knotted loveys for. It's just not something that I enjoyed making. I don't know what it was about it. I did, and this is why I like to try things. And I might feel different in 5 years or 2 years or 6 months' time. Who knows? But this was the only one where I, did some other viral pattern, which I really did not enjoy making. So the patterns are fantastic. Please do not get me wrong. They're beautifully written. They're not difficult to make. And they do turn out super cute. It was just something that I just did not enjoy making. So that is the only negative thing on this list. So let's hop right on to category number 8, which is a new or a gifted yarn that I loved using. Now, usually I buy a lot of yarn from Hobby because I live in Copenhagen here in Denmark. Hobby is based in Denmark. So I buy a lot of yarn from them. Shipping is basically free for me. It gets delivered like within 2 days. So it just makes sense for me to buy it from Hobby. And every time I buy stuffing or one of the cottons that I need, I try 1 or 2 different yarns. Also throughout the year, I've been gifted several yarns. I've been gifted yarn from the UK. I've got a lot of crochet friends in the UK now. I've got a lot of friends in the US. I always love receiving yarns that's very specific to them. And one of the yarns that I received, or set of yarns I received, was from my friend Carlotta in the US. It was, I think, Baby Bee or Yarn Bee. It was Yarn Bee yarn that she had sent me. And I made this adorable mouse from the Pick-a-Pow book. I loved using this yarn. So out of all of the new yarns that I tried throughout 2024, this Yarn Bee, which is a thicker, I think it's a 4 weight acrylic yarn. I loved it. I loved the feel of it. It worked beautifully. This mouse just turned out absolutely fantastic. I know she didn't make it into my top 5, but she would have definitely been in my top 10. I loved making her. I loved I loved the look of how she turned out. Then category number 9, my favorite free pattern of 2024. And surprisingly, it is not the free pick-a-bow patterns that you can find on the hobby website. It has been this fairy doll from the Amigurumi Today website. Now, I love Amigurumi Today. I've made several of their patterns over the years, but this little big-headed doll stole my heart. They've got various versions of these big-headed dolls. They've got 2 different fairy versions. They've got Christmas versions. They've got animal versions. I love this pattern. And this little doll came out so cute. So she won the category of favorite free pattern. Then my last category is my highlight, or a highlight of 2024. And I think in my case it had to be my Sunny the Sorbet Bear that was featured, or that was a pattern in the Crochet Now magazine in April. I also had a pattern in the October Crochet Now magazine, which was the reindeer. But Sunny the Sorbet Bear, the fact that I got accepted to submit a pattern to Crochet Now magazine was just an absolute highlight of my crochet journey to date. I loved being in the magazine. I'm aiming to do a few more patterns for the Crochet Now magazine this year, so we will see how it goes. So there you go, friends, my top 10 favorites. One not favorite, but 9 favorites of 2024. Let me know if any of them surprised you a bit. All right, on to things to come 2025. Now, I've had to have a long think about this because I don't really make New Year's resolutions, and I don't make really crochet goals for any particular year. I like seeing how a year progresses. Something that I might like today will be very different to something I will like in 6 months' time. So I like to go with the flow, wherever the year takes us. I want to sort of throw things in that, is appropriate for a specific time, a specific event, something that might catch my eye in a couple of months' time that I wouldn't know about now. So I don't like to sort of put that pressure on me to do things that I can't predict. So I never make crochet goals. Now, a few things that I would like to attempt. I don't want to call them a goal. I'll call them an attempt. Now, the first thing is, believe it or not, another blanket. Now, I'm still busy with my gingerbread cow blanket. I'm still busy with it. I'm on the border at the moment. But I've loved making this blanket. Now, I can't open it. I'm way too close to the camera to open this whole thing up. There's a lot of things I must still do. But let me just show you a part of it. For instance, these lights. Oh my goodness. They were so time consuming, but it is one of my favorite parts of this blanket. I'll pop in actually a photo on the screen of my blanket at the moment. It is quite large. I did use the yarn because I bought the kit. So I've been using this bonus DK. What's it called? Hayfield Bonus DK Extra Value. So I did buy the yarn kit for this blanket. So the actual yarn that the blanket was designed with, which is a DK. Now I do crochet very tightly, so probably my blanket is a bit smaller than many others that I have seen on the internet. It is still fairly large, so I'm still very happy with the size of it. I'm extremely impressed that I'm this far with the blanket. It has been so time consuming. I have spent hours upon hours on this blanket, and I've loved every minute. So somewhere throughout this year, I want to do another blanket, but something like this, where it had different panels, different types of techniques. I don't want to do a blanket that's just back and forth, back and forth. That will drive me absolutely bonkers. This one held my attention the whole time. Different things that you had to do, color changes. I mean, it was one of the most fun projects I've actually done in a long time. And I think it's because I've got, I make so many amigurumis. When I looked through all the photos of the projects that I'd made throughout this year, I had 93 amigurumis. That's without any doubles, and that's without, for instance, the amigurumi world tour. I didn't include any of those makes. I did about 20 loaf cats. I only counted the loaf cats once in that 93, where I designed patterns like for the magazine. If I design any pattern, actually, I make about 4 or 5 versions of the specific toy before my testers even see the pattern. So I do make a lot of duplicates for things like designing patterns and things like the loaf cats, those little jellyfish that I made 10 of them. I only counted them once. So I made an absolute ton of amigurumi. And this year, believe it or not, you guys, I want to scale down a bit on the amigurumi making. Not completely, because I am an amigurumi maker at heart. I will never stop making amigurumi. It is my first love. But this year, I think I want to do something like this blanket again. Not anytime soon. Well, I'm still working on this one, but maybe towards the second half of the year. Do one of the previous Sirdar blankets. These beautiful blankets. I mean, there's definitely going to be another blanket coming up in the second half of the year, so who knows what's going to come across my path. But I think definitely another blanket will be in my future for this year, at least one. Another thing that I want to try and finish is a wearable. Now, if you have been with me for a few years, actually, you will know that about 2 years, actually slightly longer maybe than 2 years ago, I started a little sweater for Jessica, my daughter. She was about 10 or 11 at the time. She's now 13. So the sweater is not fitting her at all anymore. But it was the Room of Requirement sweater from the Harry Potter Wizarding World crochet book. And I got quite far with it. And I've not touched this thing in 2 years. And I will show you what it looks like. So this is the sweater and how far I've gotten with it. So it is an incredibly intricate color work sweater. So I'm at the very last row before you do the ribbing at the bottom. So the entire body of this sweater is done. All I've got to do is do the arms, and there's no color work on the arms. You also do at the bottom of the arm this little piece of color work before you do the ribbing. But I mean, I think this is quite amazing for someone like me who do not do wearables to have gotten even this far. Or, the fact that I chose this difficult of a pattern, and it's worked in a fingering weight yarn. So even though I think in the pattern they use a fingering weight wool, but I had similar colors in the Rainbow Cotton 8/4, which is a fingering weight cotton. It was ambitious, to say the least. And I cannot understand that I cannot just, as I'm watching TV or something, just finish up the ribbing and the 2 arms. So I want to try, although this will now have to be for a future grandchild of mine, or I will frame it and hang it in one day when I have a craft room. I will hang it in my craft room and say, I did do a wearable. Now I know that K&K Crochet, they have just announced like a cardi, the Hexi party. I don't know if I will do a hexagon cardigan. Like I've really wanted to, but I know myself too well. And something like that, I don't know. Like I say, the only reason this gingerbread cowl blanket kept my attention is because it was so different the whole time. But a cardigan, I don't know. Will I be able to do it? Who knows? But in terms of wearables, I want to finish that little Room of Requirement sweater from the Harry Potter crochet book. Then, my lovely friend Karen, she let me know, thankfully, she let me know about the Simply Crochet magazine. Every year they bring out a calendar for the next year that has a bunch of patterns in it. Now, 2 years ago, my friend Pamela, she sent me the calendar that had all those little fairies in it. This year, the calendar has dolls. So a doll for every month of the year. And as soon as Karen let me know about this, and I think she heard about it from Trudy, who's another lovely subscriber friend here on the channel. Trudy's from the UK, Karen's from the US. So, I mean, we're all over the place, which I absolutely love. So as soon as Karen let me know, I ordered the magazine because I have to order it from the UK. We don't get almost any English magazines here in Denmark. I've got to order everything from overseas. So I ordered the Simply Crochet magazine. I know it's on the way here, so I can't show you yet. I'm going to try and pop in a photo from the website of the front of this calendar, but I want to try and make some of these dolls. So I don't want to call it a crochet along. I don't think I'm going to make it a crochet along. That is far too much of a commitment for me to do something for an entire year. But I want to at least try and make some of these dolls. I think this year, in terms of amigurumis, I want to do amigurumis that maybe take a bit more time. You know, when you make content for YouTube, you sort of get into the mode of thinking you have to produce a ton of things to show people the whole time. And it's very difficult to keep up with that. So what happens is you end up making a lot of small things just to have something to show. And this year I want to move away from that. So I want to make a few more things that might take a little longer. So I might not have something finished to show every single week. It's just not realistic. Like I say, when I counted my amigurumis, I was actually astounded that I made that many. And this is why our apartment is overflowing. So even though I gift a lot, I donate a lot, I sell a lot, I just cannot keep up with the amount of amigurumis I've been making over the last couple of years. It's impossible. So I want to do larger things, things that maybe take a bit more time, things that are a bit more detailed, and sort of not focus so much on quantity, as I have done in the past. I want to be a bit more thoughtful this year in the project that I do. So as I say, I'm going to do a few more crochet alongs, and they will be amigurumi related, because I've just been having so much fun with all of you and all the crochet alongs. But I want to do a few more different types of things. And one of the things that caught my eye, and I'm going to pop a photo of that on the screen, is household items like cushions and baskets. But this specific cushion that I've got on the screen now, this has caught my eye. It looks like a little vase with flowers in it. And I fell in love with this the moment I saw it. And I mean, can you just imagine how cute this would look on a couch or a chair somewhere? It looks like a little basket of flowers that you've got just right there. It is so beautiful. I know it's going to be time consuming to make. I can see the amount of time just looking at these photos, but I think it's gorgeous. And this is the type of thing I maybe want to do a bit more in 2025. More household items, things that, you know, I can display in my own house. Things that are not just like heaping up, and I've got to shove into bins and, you know, stack into bags and hide in the cupboard because there's just no space for them. So I think this is going to be an aim for this year. Things that are going to be beautiful and useful and fun to make at the same time. So let's see how I do with that. What else did I want to mention? I think in terms of my plans, that's it. Like I say, I'm not going to put pressure on me. I'm going into 2025 the same way I left 2024, and that is to do what I love. And I love crocheting with this community. So we are still continuing our Amigurumi World Tour. Our last project that got chosen just before Christmas was the Pepper. Between the two books, we have now gone through every single pattern in the Whimsical Stitches book. We are on the last 4 people to receive the book in the US. Elena, who was the last person who had the book, I asked her to keep it just over the Christmas period so that we can get over that mad rush of shipping. She will send it probably either end of this week or next week. It will go to our next US recipient. So we're on the last 4 people of the US book. Canada Post, I believe, has slowly started resuming, you know, work. They are catching up on the massive backlog. So I can't see that our Canada book is going to move anytime within the next couple of weeks. It might only be towards the middle or end of January. But there's hope that our international book will start moving in January. So we're continuing with the Amigurumi World Tour, but I'm going to think of a very fun crochet along within a month or 2. A lot of crochet alongs started like yesterday and today. I've been watching so many YouTube videos. I know I'm already joining in on 2 of Litsa's cowls. The one is the Made in Australia 2025. I've actually sort of designed a little pattern and I've made a project for that cowl because I love all things Australia. I will do a little video on that within a couple of weeks. There's a second cowl that Litsa announced. I watched the video this morning. So she's got actually 3 cowls running. She announced one at the end of December. It's the Made in Australia one. She announced 2 more either yesterday or today. One of them I will be joining in, but you will have to wait and see which one that is. I don't know, there's just so many things going on, you guys. That has been my first video of 2025. A look back at 2024, a look ahead to 2025. I think we are going to have a fantastic year. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas period, festive period, time off. I hope you had a wonderful new year. I hope you're ready for the year ahead. Let me know if you've got any interesting plans. Let me know if there are any crochet alongs that you have now heard of going on in YouTube that you will be joining in with. I look forward to hearing from you guys. As always, I love chatting to you all. All right, friends, that is it for this video. Thank you for listening to me for this long. I'm glad to be back on YouTube. I'm glad to be back to chatting to you all. And you guys, I hope you are having a wonderful day. I hope you are ready for the rest of the week, for the rest of January. I hope you're ready for the rest of whatever 2025 may bring. And until I see you very, very soon, as always, friends, stay safe and stay crafty.